In late 2007, during the winding down of the Iraq War, President Bush declared a positive shift, and reconstruction efforts were underway. Sergeant Matthews and his spotter, Sergeant Isaac, were assigned to a pipeline development project in the Iraqi desert. All the workers at the site had been killed, so their mission was to identify the culprits before new builders arrived. Taking cover behind bushes and stones, they kept a vigilant watch under the scorching sun. 20 hours passed without any signs of activity. Growing impatient, Matthews began to doubt the presence of Iraqi soldiers. Considering the scattered bodies, he speculated that a group had likely completed their mission and left. Isaac, however, pointed out the absence of signs indicating a large group and proposed that a renowned Iraqi sniper named Jubal, known for his precision headshots, could be responsible. Matthews found it implausible for anyone to kill so many people in less than 30 seconds. Eventually, growing weary of waiting, Matthews decided to investigate the site closely, asking Isaac to provide cover. Isaac mentioned that his scope was becoming blurry, prompting a teasing remark from Matthews about not having adjusted it earlier. But the scope held sentimental value for Isaac as it once belonged to a fallen comrade. Matthews descended to inspect the bodies for clues, and upon confirming that all deaths were caused by precise headshots, he started to believe Isaac's theory. Positioned at the center of the site, he attempted to determine the possible direction of the shots, despite Isaac's pleas for him to retreat. Suddenly, a shot rang out, and Matthews collapsed in agony, clutching his abdomen. Desperate to aid his friend, Isaac maneuvered through a zigzag path to evade bullets but ended up getting shot in the leg. Isaac had no choice but to abandon Matthews and seek refuge behind a broken wall. While wounded, Matthews managed to contact Isaac and instructed him to call the base for backup. Before doing so, Isaac tended to his severe leg wound by tying a belt tightly around it to staunch the bleeding. He grabbed his radio bag to contact the base, only to realize that the sniper had shot the antenna, leaving him without a signal. Moments later, Matthews contacted him again, requesting that Isaac spot the sniper so he could aim at him. Ignoring Isaac's warning about the sniper's keen observation, Matthews insisted. Isaac began creating a hole in the wall with his knife to insert the scope, but ended up injuring his hand with falling rocks. Undeterred, Matthews tried to reach for his rifle, but fainted due to blood loss. Unwilling to meet the same fate as his friend, Isaac used a blade to extract the bullet from his leg, an excruciating process. He then bandaged the wound and, exhausted, passed out. Upon regaining consciousness, Isaac heard a peculiar noise through his earpiece. It turned out to be an officer from the base, and Isaac promptly reported the situation, pleading for medical supplies. However, he grew suspicious as the officer asked unusual questions and requested Isaac's precise location or to fire in the air, claiming it was necessary for accurate supply drops by helicopters. Isaac pointed out the protocol violation and the potential danger it would pose. As he paid closer attention to the man's words, he discerned the non-American accent. The officer was none other than Jubal, the sniper, who had hacked into the radio frequencies to set a trap. Isaac refused to be deceived and called him out. Instead of ending the call, Jubal persisted with his inane questions, expressing a desire to get to know Isaac better. Isaac resisted, finding the inquiries too personal. He taunted Jubal's twisted reasoning, highlighting how he was killing those individuals who were actively involved in developing the country, constructing schools, pipelines, and infrastructure to bolster the local economy. Jubal laughed, revealing that the money generated from these efforts would eventually flow back to the USA. As time elapsed, Jubal continued probing, but Isaac steadfastly refused to reveal personal information. In response, Jubal threatened to shoot Matthews again, risking the possibility that Matthews was still alive. Isaac reluctantly engaged in conversation and requested Jubal to speak first. Meanwhile, Isaac sketched a map of the site in the dirt, calculating bullet trajectories to pinpoint the sniper's possible location. Jubal claimed to be an ordinary Iraqi citizen striving to save his country, urging Isaac to share details about his family. Isaac objected, considering it too personal. To distract Jubal further, Isaac ridiculed his rationale, emphasizing that he was eliminating the very people working to develop the country and stimulate the local economy. Jubal laughed once more and explained that he only targeted those who attacked him first. In turn, Isaac recounted the story of how he met his best friend as a child and later enlisted together with him as adults. Dehydration and exhaustion began taking their toll on Isaac, causing him to collapse, his body racked with pain as Jubal threatened to staple his tongue to his chest. Isaac resorted to a risky maneuver, attempting to create a diversion by attaching a jacket and helmet to his rifle, then waving it above the wall. Jubal saw through the ruse, causing the helmet to fall on the other side of the wall, leaving Isaac exposed without head protection. This careless mistake became a sniping opportunity, and Isaac braced for the worst. Time wore on, and Isaac's desperation led him to take a calculated risk. He dashed toward a lifeless body lying on the ground, seized his bag and radio, and hurriedly returned to the safety of the wall while deftly evading Jubal's bullets. In the bag, Isaac discovered water and some candy, which he consumed eagerly. However, this radio proved non-functional as well. Jubal punished him for his audacity by shooting at the wall, severely damaging Isaac's scope. In the midst of the chaos, Isaac caught a faint sound emanating from his earpiece. It was Matthews, still alive. Isaac shouted the sniper's location to him, and Matthews, painstakingly, retrieved a piece of metal to utilize as an improvised scope and surveyed the trash pile. With excruciating slowness, Matthews reached for his rifle while Isaac engaged Jubal in conversation to distract him. Isaac learned that Jubal had been a teacher in Baghdad until his students were killed during an American attack, driving him to seek revenge. The wall behind which Isaac sought refuge was the remains of the school. Jubal queried Isaac about why he kept the damaged scope, but Isaac remained silent, prompting Jubal to threaten Matthews once more. Driven by a desire to save his friend, Isaac admitted that he retained the scope in memory of his fallen comrade, for whom Isaac felt responsible due to a mistake he had made. Meanwhile, Matthews positioned his rifle and blindly aimed at the pile of trash, discharging his remaining bullets while Isaac fired sporadically to create the illusion of noise. Just as Matthews was about to reload his weapon, Jubal retaliated, shooting him in the shoulder. Isaac implored Matthews to crawl toward safety behind the wall, but as Isaac leaned over to help him, Jubal fatally shot Matthews in the head. Helpless, Isaac watched his friend die, succumbing to a breakdown as he expressed his longing to return home. Jubal informed Isaac that he wouldn't shoot him if he genuinely wanted to leave, but Isaac remained skeptical. Subsequently, Jubal asked Isaac why he was still there despite the war being over. Isaac paused before responding that it was he who had killed his previous sniper partner accidentally, mistaking him for an enemy. Isaac had been dishonest with everyone, attributing his friend's death to the enemy. Suddenly, Isaac heard activity on the radio and hurriedly checked the signal, relieved to hear ongoing conversations. However, his relief was short-lived as he realized the damaged radio prevented him from sending messages. To his shock, Jubal joined the conversation, impersonating an American soldier in need of assistance. Isaac finally grasped that Jubal had been hacking into American communication lines all along, masquerading as a soldier in distress to lure rescue teams and eliminate them easily, capitalizing on the element of surprise. Isaac attempted to interrupt the conversation to no avail. Sometime later, Isaac regained consciousness, feeling the painful pecking of a crow at his leg wound. Feeling abandoned and believing himself to be already dead, Isaac decided to take a gamble. Using rope and a stick, he retrieved Matthew's rifle and aimed it at the pile of trash. At that moment, helicopters arrived at the scene, unwittingly exposing Isaac's location to the trap. Determined to save the incoming soldiers, Isaac pushed the wall, causing it to crumble and creating a cloud of dust that hindered Jubal's access to Isaac. Isaac opened fire at the pile of trash without knowing if he hit his target. In order to confirm, Isaac stood up from his position and was stunned to see that Jubal hadn't taken advantage of the opportunity to shoot back. Isaac believed he had successfully killed Jubal. Soon, helicopters arrived and quickly evacuated Isaac on a stretcher, providing him with immediate medical attention. Isaac tried to communicate the presence of Jubal to the rescue team, but was drowned out by the noise of the departing helicopters. Unexpectedly, Jubal began firing at the helicopters, killing the medical personnel and the pilot. The helicopter spiraled downward, crashing on impact, killing Isaac and enabling Jubal to fulfill his twisted promise. From a technical standpoint, Isaac had not been shot. Jubal hacked into American communication lines again, impersonating an American soldier to lure his next group of victims.